Mac Jones, the quarterback the Niners were thinking about drafting. They took Trey Lance instead. Now they get 2 years, $7 million, $5 million guaranteed. It's an interesting number. Coach, what do you think about the Niners signing Mac Jones in particular? Why do you think they brought him in? Out of all, it could have had Zach Wilson. He went to Miami. Why Mac?
Two schools of thought. One is if you're doing it as an honest broker, he's here to be the number 2 quarterback. He has the skill set that Kyle Shanahan likes. Allah is interested in him in 2021 when he was the original quarterback that we were going to pick up at 12 before we had moved up to 3 to get Trey Lance. And then there's the other school of thought, which is Brock Purdy is now in a contract negotiations with not only the organization, but Parag. And even though we know that Kyle and John may be bullish on Brock, we don't know how the organization feels. And I think that they're using all of the leverage and all of the influence that they have to be able to be as staunch as they need to in negotiations with Brock, even to the point of anticipating a possible holdout if Brock wants to not come into camp and they cannot miss a beat and move forward with Mac Jones at number 2. So there's 2 different ways that you can look at it. I tend to believe the former, which is Mac Jones is here to be the number 2. I don't believe that you have Brock Purdy coming in and negotiating for a deal. I think that this is a slippery slope. We can go from Brock Purdy doesn't deserve $45 million, $55 million, but then there's a whole nother conversation with, Brock Purdy we're kind of thinking if you even need to be the starter of this team. So that's how I feel about Mac being here. I think he's the number 2.
What's interesting about this is, according to Tom Pelissero, the Niners tried to trade for Mac Jones last year. So it's been someone they've been trying to get for a while. And I think what's interesting is 2-year deal instead of a 1-year deal. So like, to me, I like this deal so much because the theme of last year was like all these previously highly drafted quarterbacks who'd been labeled busts by other teams that sucked, actually having a rebirth in their career. There were a bunch of examples of it. And Darnold was one, but there were others. Baker was another. So I think it's cool to try to go to that as opposed to trying to draft the next Brock Purdy and find some like diamond in the rough in round 7. Why don't you bring in someone that you liked, someone that used to be expensive, someone that's only played for bad teams, and give him like a freaking 2-year, $7 million deal? I like that it's a 2-year deal and not a 1-year deal because, I think they wish they'd given Darnold a 2-year deal instead of a 1-year deal. So you have a guy that who fits your system and you're committed to for 2 years. And I don't think it's a given that they're going to give Brock Purdy this extension. I think that's what's going on here. Like, if he gets to the extension, then obviously Mac Jones is the number 2, but he hasn't gotten it yet. And if he wants $50 million a year and the Niners are offering 35, then they'll either figure it out or he could hold out and then Mac Jones could have first string reps and things could get really weird. And I like that at least the Niners I like that they haven't given Brock Purdy what he wants. I don't think he deserves $50 million a year. And I like that they give themselves more leverage by having another quarterback. Has he been bad? Yeah. But what would Brock have looked like on the Patriots? Probably bad. I mean, he looked bad at times in the second half last year on the Niners. So I'm curious to see what Mac Jones looks like throwing to George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey.
Okay, so I'll take that and I'll raise you. I'm not interested in turning another hoe into a housewife. We did it to Sam Darnold. We brought him here. We gave him the best organization that he's ever seen. We gave him the best offense and the best team that he's ever been wrapped around. And then on top of it, because he was embroiled in already quarterback politics, he was given a soft body as far as ingratiating himself into the offense in the preseason. We saw that cupcake offense that he got when Trey Lance was going through his druthers with preseason. And really what we did is that we saved Sam Darnold's career. We gave him a moment to catch his breath, sit back, and get better. I see a little bit of us getting Mac Jones because I do feel like Kyle, and there's probably whispers with the 49ers or the coaching staff where it's like, man, we missed Sam by 1 year. If we would have held on to Sam for just one more year, maybe we would have this good problem on our hands. And I feel like in a little way, in a way, if they're trying to do that, this grasping at straws. Yes, Mac Jones is going to look better with the 49ers because he played at the Patriots and the Jaguars, okay? Just period, he's going to look better. Yes, Mac Jones is going to be able to do things better than Brock Purdy at times because he's not going to be the starter. He's going to get backup reps, and he's going to be made to get propped up because he's going to have a good running game around him. So, no, Mac Jones has never handed off the ball to Christian McCaffrey. He doesn't know what it's like to throw the ball to George Kittle. And what happens is that once fans see that, embroiled in a contract negotiation, would-be contract negotiation with Brock, if he doesn't sign by then, you're going to get people that are prisoners of the moment. They were going to have everybody talking about, well, why don't we give Mac Jones a shot? I mean, Brock doesn't want to sign. No. The same people that had Brock as top 10 as one of these guys that before we got the number, everybody was saying that Brock was going to get paid north of 50. Now, all of a sudden, because we get a new name in here, now Brock should compete. I just don't want to fall off the rails here. Let's keep the main thing the main thing. Mac is here to be the number 2, not compete with the guy that we got going for a deal. Just shows a little bit of bad form.
I would have them compete, absolutely. I don't think Brock has earned the contract that he wants, and I don't think that he's going to get it. I really don't. I mean, I think they would be down to offer him the 3-year, $100 million contract that Baker got, that Darnold got. I think that's fair. And if he accepts it, then he's the quarterback. But when he starts asking for maybe $50 million or more, then I think Kyle and John can think, well, we love Brock, but is he that much better than Mac Jones? Like, is he better than Mac Jones? Yes, because there's a quick twitch element to Brock's game that Mac doesn't have. I mean, he's more like Jimmy. He's got slow feet, but at the same time, he's freaking cheap. And he was a first-round pick because he does have some really nice traits. He's got a really nice arm. He's got a bigger arm than Brock, and he doesn't have the elbow issue. He's bigger than Brock. So, obviously, Brock's better, but it's not a question of one for one. It's Brock at $50 million a year or Mac at $7 million. Or it's Brock on the final year of his rookie deal and Mac, who's here for 2 years. I mean, that's sort of the question here. And look, if Brock truly is a lot better than Mac Jones and you give Mac Jones some first string reps, Brock will blow him out of the water real quick and the competition will be over. But I think there's a part of me and a part of Kyle that wonders, could Mac have done all this if he had been in Brock's position? You know, I don't know. Maybe the answer is no, but I think Darnold could have done a lot of what Brock did. And I wonder if Brock could have gone to Minnesota and gone 14-3 last year. I don't know that Brock's better than Sam Darnold. And the Niners never really gave Darnold an opportunity to take those first string reps. I mean, we never really saw him with the starters in a real game, Darnold. And then he goes to Minnesota and it's like, damn, you might be better than Brock. And he was just here backing him up. I just like to see, just to see with my own eyes, just to get confirmation. And it doesn't need to be 3 months. It could be a week. If it's that distinct and apparent that Brock's better, great, end it. But I'd like to see. And here's the thing, if Brock holds out, we just might get that glimpse without there even being a competition.
All right, cool. And I understand what you're saying right now. You want like a little appetizer. All right, you just want to kind of dip your toe in. And I understand what you're saying.
You know what I mean? A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
A little bit of that. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. You want a little smorgasbord. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I am vehemently against that. That is what got us here in the first place. Always trying to have our options about us. Right now, if we don't believe Brock is the guy, we got 2 years to hold him out and go find a guy. Not go get a retread who we've seen get alienated by coaches in locker rooms, and then finally we start giving him a chance because he finally got it right on his third go with a better team. I don't buy that. I don't buy quarterbacks that have multiple chances to be the guy, and then when they coincidentally get with a good franchise, all of a sudden they're the best thing since sliced bread. I see what happened to Sam Darnold, and I think Sam Darnold's going to fall on his face in Seattle. I think that he played with two teams back-to-back that he's never had in his entire career. And I just think that there were moments in the season with Sam Darnold last year where he fell back to earth when it was time for him to be the man. I think that we've seen the floor with Brock Purdy with what we have as a team. And for me, I like that. At least we know that what he can do when he doesn't have all the pieces around him. I know what Mac Jones can do when he doesn't have all the pieces around him. And right now, I think another thing that we're doing is that we're kind of taking for granted that Mac Jones is going to be coming into a team that's going to be ready for Mac Jones. Jones. I don't want to get caught up in evaluating two mid quarterbacks just to come out at the end of the day and realize that they're both mid. Like, let's just stick with Brock is the number one, Mac is the number two, and then we let Brock play out his contract. They're both mid. There's no reason to have a conversation if they're both mid. But I know that Sam Darnold is not a better quarterback than Brock Purdy because he hasn't been here. And I'm not really to see him. I mean, not Sam Darnold, but Mac Jones. Sorry. Mac Jones. And I'm not ready to see it. I'm ready to move on from it. Just be the number two.
To me, I'm so not eager.
And we're
to
not
pay
good
Brock
at quarter competitions.
I don't want to pay Brock Purdy this money. It's going to gut the whole team. I mean, they're already gutting the team.
Right.
He's not an elite quarterback. So I'm looking for any excuse not to pay Brock Purdy more than $40 million. Any excuse. And the excuse is we got a guy who's not quite as good. He's not as good as him, but he's in the same ballpark, and he's 2 years, $7 million. You got to show me why you're worth $50 million more than this guy, why you're worth $40 million more than this guy, because we lost a lot of games with you last year. You threw a lot of picks in the second half. You made some terrible decisions. Your number one skill set is supposed to be decision making and field vision. It's like you lost games in the second half, fourth quarter last year, and we're gonna pay you like you're Joe Burrow, like you're Matt Stafford. What?
I got something though, Grant. Also, something that we gotta realize. What would Jed say to yet another quarterback shakeup? I mean, he's already running. Colin's already running on thin ice as it is.
A lot of money on a quarterback right now when all they're doing is cutting back spending on football.
Yeah, but I think that going with a Sam Darnold in the middle of what's happening with Brock would only make the coaching staff league that much more unstable. I'm so sorry. I have him on the mind. Mac Jones, going over with Mac Jones, I just think that would look bad for the coaching staff.
But it's not like we're saying, hey, man, we got Mac Jones, forget Brock. It's like, well, if Brock's going to hold out and Brock's going to be difficult and Brock's not going to take our more than fair offer, then like, why don't we just move on with the quarterback who's here, wants to be here, and is cheap? Well, instead of playing these freaking games with Brock.
If we move by your logic, then the Niners never believed in Brock, because if we have another quarterback competition for Brock Purdy, then he'll only would have had one season here with the 49ers where he actually was the true starter and didn't get challenged, which was last year. Every year he's been here, he's had to go through a quarterback competition. Doesn't that strike you as odd?
Has he? When has he ever gone through a quarterback competition?
He went through a quarterback competition before the year before. Well, first, when he got here, he had to compete to get the job. That's year one. Year two, there was a competition when he came off of his elbow with Trey Lance.
Between Trey and Darnold, not for him. He didn't take any second string reps. No.
Okay, I'll give you that year. 2 years out of half the time that he's been here, he's been in the quarterback competition.
No, he was not in a quarterback competition in 2023. He was not in a quarterback competition in 2024. Yes, as a rookie, he had to make the team. What is so bad about a quarterback competition? Why would that be a bad thing? Why can't we see Mac Jones with some starters a little bit? Would it hurt Brock's feelings?
I don't think that it has anything with hurting Brock's feelings, but I just think that it's talking out of both sides of your mouth. You say that this is your guy. You say that this is the guy Brock's the real deal. Brock is the guy that's supposed to be leading our team. And now all of a sudden you bring in a new name, and the only cachet that he has is that he got drafted in the first round 4 years ago.
Isn't the only thing that matters that you know who the best player is and you play him? I mean, haven't the Niners had a problem with? They had Brock Purdy third in their depth chart and didn't play him, even though he was the best quarterback on the team. Like, don't you want to make sure that doesn't happen? Don't you want to make sure you're playing the best quarterback?
Making sure that you are playing the best quarterback doesn't happen when you pick up Mac Jones from two teams removed. I just don't think that that's something that you should do. It doesn't make sense. You have Brock Purdy and you're already in contract negotiations with Brock Purdy to make him your franchise quarterback if you want to pull the trigger.
If in the middle of
the middle of the contract negotiations, you bring in Mac Jones and start a quarterback competition. Are you truly an honest broker as an organization? How can anybody take you seriously if that's what you're willing to do with the quarterback in the middle of contract negotiation?
Job.
No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. It is football, and they're human beings, and there's certain things that you can't do that'll make the organization show bad faith. Just like it's bad faith for Brandon Ayuk to go for $30 million more, to go for $30 million when he could have took his original deal. It wasn't bad that he went for it, but it was bad form and it put a bad taste in everybody's mouth. It's not going to go over well, especially coming off 6-11 season. You're saying that you got your guy that you believe in, and you're bringing Mac Jones to compete?
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
No, it's not.
I think it's whack.
Football. It's a meritocracy. Prove that you're better than Mac Jones.
Prove that you're better than Mac Jones. Grant, this isn't Lord of the Flies, bro. You just can't make everybody compete for their job literally year after year. Like, come on, bro.
Can.
No, you can't.
Absolutely, you can.